In this interview, I had the chance to talk to Tara Slone, who is a co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey on Sportsnet. Rogers Hometown Hockey visits many different communities across the country with a weekend of free outdoor hockey festivities for all ages and culminates in an outdoor viewing party of an NHL game broadcasted that Sunday. During the interview, Tara talked about what to expect for Season 4 and some of her most memorable moments so far. So let's tune into that conversation right now. Hello everybody, this is Giancarlo Aulino, and in this interview segment, we're going to be talking about Rogers Hometown Hockey. To help us out today, we're happy to be joined by our guest. She is the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey, Tara Slone. Hello Tara, welcome to Beyond the Game.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Tara, you're getting ready for a new season of Rogers Hometown Hockey. Can you take us back to 4 years ago and describe what your reaction was when you were approached to be a co-host? And what were your initial thoughts of the program?
Well, you know what? I was the one who approached the big bosses at Rogers. I was working as the host of breakfast television in Calgary at the time, and I was doing a little bit of work for Sportsnet on the side, doing some curling and some junior hockey, and really interested in getting into hockey full time. And then, sort of like a bomb, I think it dropped for everybody that Rogers got the rights, in 12 years, $5 billion. Got the rights to the NHL, and in their press release, they sort of outlined some of their programming, and it was a pretty simple description. I don't think they'd even really thought about what exactly the show was going to be, but basically to expect a traveling show that encompassed the country and the stories behind the game, and it was going to be community focused and hosted by Ron McLennan. And so I actually sent a pretty impassioned plea to become part of the show. So for the first season, I did half the tour, and then for season 2, they brought me on full time. So it was sort of a work in progress. We all kind of jumped into it, but fell in love with the premise very quickly.
Yeah, you mentioned Ron McLennan. You'll be returning alongside him this season. What can fans expect for season 4?
Well, we have 24 more stops on the docket, so we've done 73 so far over the past 3 seasons, and 24 to add to that. And as always, we're kind of made up of 2 things. We're a traveling festival, so we have a convoy of trucks that go across the country, and we have a weekend festival, and that's free and family friendly. We have tons of alumni events and signings, and a stage set up. And then every Sunday from that community location, Ron comes to town, and he and I host a broadcast that's focused around the community. We do a pregame show, and then in conjunction with that, we show the NHL matchup. So it's it's the big game itself, but it's the stories behind the game. Everybody starts small.
For those just joining us on Vibe 105, we're speaking with the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey, Tara Slone. Tara, one of the segments you feature is My Hometown Must, which highlights some of the activities one must do when visiting some of these hometowns. Of the hometowns you've visited so far, which hometown must has been the most memorable for you, and what was it about that experience that made it such a memorable moment?
Well, it's hard to pick one because there at this point have been so many. For different reasons, some have stuck out. I would say from just a pure adrenaline point of view, our visit to Thunder Bay a couple of years ago, there's a large community Finnish population there, and a lot of the people in Thunder Bay and the surrounding areas have cabins, and at their cabins they have saunas, and so there's a whole tradition of being in a sauna, or as they call it, sauna, and then cooling off either in the snow or in water. And in this case, it was Lake Superior. So I actually took a dip in Lake Superior in January, which was something I will never do again. But I guess I'm sort of glad I did it and lived to tell the tale. But there are also some that are, more kind of emotional. We were in Nanaimo last season, and were given a traditional welcome from the Snuneymuxw First Nation there, which was very powerful and moving. So I feel very fortunate that that's part of what I get to do.
For those just joining us on Vibe 105, we're speaking with the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey, Tara Slone. Tara, before we wrap up, What are some of the goals you hope Rogers Hometown Hockey can accomplish in its 4th season?
Well, I think we just keep on telling the stories with the same passion, and I guess we try to tell as complete a story as possible. I think that, there are no end to the stories to be told here, so our goal has been the same from the beginning. It's really leave no stone unturned, and I know Ron feels very passionate about trying to get every name and detail in the broadcast. I think that if we leave having made a community feel like we've represented them properly, then we've done our job. So that's what we continue to strive for.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Tara, unfortunately, we're out of time. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to chat with us here at Beyond the Game, and we wish you all the best this season.
Thank you very much. All the best to you.
Thanks. That was the co-host of Rogers Hometown Hockey, Tara Slone. And for more information about Rogers Hometown Hockey, we encourage our listeners to check out hometownhockey.com. Now, we're going to send it back to the studio for more Beyond the Game right here on Vibe 105.
This is Tara Slone. You're listening to Beyond the Game.
Welcome to Rogers Hometown Hockey.
There's an amazing energy from this community.